Hello everybody, this is Gruesome Fox coming at you with a 300 cost rated match in the buffed Zaku 2 Dozle Zabi custom. We're going to be on Arctic base for this match here, and the Dozle Zaku was buffed as part of the April 2026 unit adjustments. This adjustment really came as a surprise. I don't think anyone had it on their bingo card that the Zaku 2 Dozle Zabi custom was going to be seeing some type of buff in the near future. And it's pretty surprising too, because at least to me, the Zaku 2 Dozle Zabi custom has always been a really good general, especially at its native cost for 300, where the firepower type ad guy is meant to be like the more range general for the cost. The Dozle Zaku fills out the melee role. It has the big heat hawk, it has the punchy melee, and you also have a really nice pair of grenades as well that also help you get damage in. And really, I mean, looking at the reference data that this unit has, it was actually exceeding in damage, even all the way up to 450, which is the highest cost it can go to. It was actually exceeding the general average in how much damage it could do. But when it came to this unit's win rate, its rival win rate, and the amount of mobile suits lost, that's where it was really starting to struggle, and where the adjustments they made to this unit were trying to address. So we will be jumping into that today. It is a very short adjustment list. They only made some changes to the unit specs, and it does look like these adjustments are for all levels of the Dozle Zaku. Nothing is specific to any particular level, so we will jump into that here. And looking at the specs they changed here, the unit HP has been enhanced from 15,000 to 16,000, with upper levels also being enhanced. Your mid-range part slots have been increased from 8 to 9, with upper levels also being enhanced. Your long-range part slots have been increased from 2 to 4, with upper levels also being enhanced. The unit skill Interrupt Guard level 1 has been given. The unit skill Active Guard level 2 has been given. And the unit skill Offense System level 1 has been adjusted to a level 2. And that is everything we have here for the adjustment list for the Dozle Zaku. And yeah, I mean, it's a nice mini update that seems to address the issues that the Dozle Zaku is having, at least if we're going by the reference data. No changes were made to the weapons or many of the other skills that were already on this unit. Again, the only skill that they adjusted was Offense System being raised to level 2, and that does make sense. As I mentioned earlier from the reference data, the Dozle Zaku was excelling in damage dealt even at higher levels, and the weapons on the Dozle Zaku are already really good to begin with, so I really can't see what you can change about a axe that is able to instantly knock down anybody, a pair of punchy fists that can heavy stagger, and some really good grenades. The only weapon I could see an argument against is the Giant Bazooka, because it is an older weapon in GBO2, but given that the Giant Bazooka's main purpose on this weapon is to act as a instant stun for you to go in and do your melee, it's not really too much of an issue. The Giant Bazooka does what it needs to do, and primarily, you know, should be going in for those melee blows anyway. So, for the purposes of the Dozle Zaku, yeah, I think the Giant Bazooka is pretty good as is. But looking at the biggest thing they changed with this unit, that being Active Guard level 2, yeah, this is something I did see some concerns about when this unit got initially adjusted, seeing that maybe Active Guard level 2 might be too much for 300 costs. Personally, I don't think that's really going to be much of an issue here, primarily because the Dozle Zaku does not have the best thrusters. At native cost, I believe its thrusters start out at 60, and I think with some builds I could get maybe up to 65. Maybe at like 400 and 450, maybe you can get like a higher thruster build with it, maybe if you get like the thruster expansion from the expansion hanger, but it's not really going to be anything like the Jester or the Gustav Call, where you can really build those units toward thrusters and make the most use out of the Active Guard as much as possible. With the Dozle Zaku here, again, you have a really low thruster gauge, so you're not going to be really able to do a crazy thruster gauge build that lets you keep up that Active Guard as much as possible. So I think that is going to keep the skill relatively balanced at its native cost. I don't think, again, it's going to be too much of an issue for the unit, and if anything, it is going to help with the survivability that this unit seemed to be suffering from, since the Dozle Zaku does not have a dodge roll of any kind, so maybe having the Active Guard be sort of a fill-in for a dodge roll does feel like the best, scenario here. And it does also, I think, match with, kind of Dozle's fighting style and personality. Actually, in Gundam Evolution, when the Dozle Zaku was in that game, I do remember that it did have the ability to bring its arm up in front of it and guard itself, so, kind of feels like a Gundam Evolution kind of reference there, that you kind of have that guard sort of ability there. Really kind of crazy that we haven't gotten any kind of situation battle that is Gundam Evolution themed. I think we have, like, at least most of the UC suits that we would need for such a thing, and we do have the Barbados, so we could, kind of throw that in. I don't think it's the same Barbados. I think the one in Evolution was the 4-form version, not the Lupus, but could be close enough to have a fun Gundam Evolution themed situation battle, but I digress. Overall, I think the adjustment they made here for the Dozle Zaku was a good, kind of minor adjustment to address the issues that this unit was facing. I do really wish that other low-cost units saw priority, though. There are plenty of units for, really looking at all the costs that the Dozle Zabi is at, there's plenty of units for 300 through 450 that I think a lot of players can name that really do need to see some type of adjustments, and hopefully in the future we will see some, adjustments for those units. As I said, I think for the Dozle Zaku here, for this being a pretty minor kind of adjustment, again, it was a very small adjustment list, I think it is good to just kind of help keep this unit up to scuff, and maybe with that out of the way, maybe they can focus on more of the lower cost units if we do see more adjustments for those in the future. I do wonder if the refresh we got for the Dozle Step-Up banner was maybe a precursor to this unit getting adjusted, because recently for the Spring Festival they did refresh the Step-Up banner to get the level 1 through 4 of the Dozle Zaku, the same step-up style that they did with it when it initially released. So I wonder if that maybe had anything to kind of do with the adjustment. Again, maybe it was kind of a hint or a precursor that maybe this was a unit they were looking at. Would be interesting, because that is the first time they've refreshed one of these guaranteed step-up banners for the 1 through 4 units. Hopefully we kind of see that with some other units as well. It would be fun to kind of get some of those back, and, for those who missed those units in the past, maybe skipped out on them, would be nice to see kind of those making a return. Kind of just nice to maybe get the occasional banner refresh instead of just having something, new, at least, outside of the main banner suit, having like 2 to 3 new banners that we've been getting recently. Would be nice to have some, like, refresh stuff to kind of give players who missed those units the opportunity to get them if they, so please. But that is going to be timeout mission over. Let's see how we did here with the buffed Dozle Zaku at 300 cost. And yep, we do have a mission complete, some good works in the side chat there. And yeah, did get top in individual and did beat my rival. And first place overall with 9 kills and 3 loss. And yeah, third place in damage. So yeah, not too bad of a match there with the buffed Dozle Zaku. And again, just a really good buff in terms of the defenses for this unit. I only wish that they maybe prioritize some of the other suits for 300, 350, up to 450 that really do need an adjustment. There's a lot of suits that really feel left behind, so maybe with the Dozle Zaku here getting this minor adjustment that kind of leaves some spaces open for some other units to come in, maybe during the next unit adjustment to get something. But yeah, overall a good buff for the Dozle Zaku here. As I mentioned, I don't think the addition of the guard skills is going to really be too harsh on lower costs here. I think it's just going to really address the issues that the Dozle Zaku is facing. And overall, just a good minor adjustment for this unit. And yeah, that's really everything I have for this video here. Comment down below what you think about the buffed Zaku 2 Dozle Zabi Custom. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.